My name is Bernie Heisen. I'll be giving an informative speech on communication theory, and I'll be discussing three chosen elements: inferential errors, facial expressions, and gestures. I'll be relating those to comedy, and as an example, I'll be using a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. A funny thing happened to me today. Went to the store, I parked the car, I came out, and there was a note on my car, and I thought, oh, somebody left me a note. Not so much. I opened it up, and it says, parking fine. I thought, how funny. My parking is fine. I parked between the lines, but clearly it's not what the note was about. It was actually a citation for parking in the wrong spot. And no, I didn't park in the handicap spot. If you didn't know that, inferential error is what that was an example of. It was a mistaken conclusion based on an assumption instead of substantial quantity of quality, and that's the key, information. Some examples that we might see today are, racial profiling. A 13-year-old boy that was killed in Florida for walking in his neighborhood wearing a hoodie. He was the wrong place, the wrong time, and somebody thought that he was up to no good. Took it upon themselves to kill him. Slang or jargon or euphemisms, right? An example of a euphemism might be a person passed away instead of they're dead. That we say that to be sensitive instead of insensitive. Facial expressions is the second one I wanted to cover, and kind of the definition of that is visualized nonverbal communication. Some examples are happy, sad, disgust, fear, anger, surprise. I wanted to give you an example of, right in front of your eyes. I have my hands in front of me, and I'm giving a speech, and I don't know if you can tell if I'm nervous or not. I think we all kind of feel that, but you can tell by my facial expressions and my body movements. The third one is gestures, and gestures are nonverbal physiological movements, generally with the body. It's frequently with the hands, and it often accompanies verbal communication. To put it into perspective, I wanted to discuss that in terms of comedy, and I wanted you to view forum beginning at 35 minutes and 42 seconds to 38 minutes and 36 seconds. If you'll do that, I'll describe these elements in comedy. In the scene at 36 minutes and 30 seconds, the pun is kind of set up. We see that Erroneous is back from his journey looking for his children that were taken by pirates, and the camera view is blurry. So that kind of sets it up. Just following that scene, he gets out of his chariot and he bumps into Hysterium, and he exclaims, "Excuse me, young lady." Clearly, Hysterium is not a woman; he's a man, and he's holding a chicken at the same time. And he says, he touches the chicken and he says, "Oh, what a lovely baby." Clearly, that's not a baby. So that's funny. And the idea here is the exaggeration of what we do on a daily basis. That's what makes these funny. Second, facial expressions. At 37 minutes and 4 seconds, I want you to observe Pseudolus. He plays the role of soothsayer and surprises Ronius from behind by screaming, and he's got his hoodie over his head, and because he thinks that there's somebody in his house, it's making noise, and he thinks it's a ghost. So he says, "I need a soothsayer." So he comes out and he plays this role, but he uses his facial expressions to kind of sell all the noise that he's making. The final example of gestures in comedy, and Erroneous is in the same clip. Of course, Erroneous is focused on Pseudolus, and he's watching again. He's pretending to be a soothsayer and Pseudolus is looking at hysterium and behind Erroneus in the background, and this is at 37 minutes and 36 seconds. And he, remember that if you're watching, there's some dialogue going on between Erroneus and hysterium, and he's telling him about his trip. Well, Pseudolus doesn't know this, so he's playing really a game of Pictionary, and he's kind of doing this, and he's putting his hand up like up here, you know, that he went searching, and he's talking about 2 children. But it's funny because he's miming all of these things, and then Pseudolus is pretending that he knows where he's been, right? Like a crystal ball. But those are some examples of in comedy of inferential error, facial expressions, and gestures. And I just kind of wanted to sum them up really quick. Errors, again, are the lack of facts and communication, yet embrace them in comedy, right? So that exaggeration. Facial expressions validate verbal content. In comedy, they become exaggerated in order to visualize the pun. And for gestures, communication is a variety of feelings and thoughts, but as a staple in comedy. That concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.